Mallory, hello.
Hello.
Can you tell me a little bit about your epilepsy journey?
Oh goodness. I was a perfectly normal, healthy child. I had only ever been diagnosed with asthma, and so they were like, yes, she can play sports, do all the things. And I was 14, and I was just not feeling well.
Okay.
I had gotten very sick with something called the rotavirus.
Okay.
I had been to the emergency room twice. I got sent home both times. Later I got admitted. They kept me for a week, and they were checking my electrolytes, and they checked my calcium, and they said, your calcium's a little bit low, I'm gonna give you a calcium pill. They went to give me a calcium pill, and I went into my first ever grand mal seizure.
You were 14.
14.
And what happened after that?
They gave me a MRI. They said I had encephalitis and a spot on my thalamus, which they did not continue to explore. They just kind of left it as a spot. And then they sent me to a pediatric neurologist and said, go get this figured out, because I started having more.
Wow. And so how long ago was that?
That was 5 years ago.
Okay. And have your seizures been able to be controlled with medication, or what have
No.
they done?
So I know now that I have refractory epilepsy. So basically my body rejects all the medication that I'm given, and my body has multiple different types of epilepsy. So I struggle with JME, I struggle with Javon syndrome, your typical tonics. I have myoclonus in my eyes, and I went through a lot of different doctors and different medications that did not work. Some kind of went through a honeymoon phase, and then my mom found this place online. She booked it the night before, and we came down here, and I met a wonderful doctor named Dr. Millette, and he has given me lots of options for medication, surgery, just great things to help control my seizures.
Wow.
Yes.
So have you been to this event before then?
I have.
How many times have you come?
This is my third year.
Oh.
Yes.
And what do you feel like you, other than connecting with Dr. Millette?
Yeah.
Because that's a big deal.
Yes.
What have you gained from being here?
So much. So much. I am just so lucky, because a lot of people, when you're diagnosed with something that's so heavy as epilepsy, it can seem like your life's the worst, everything's not working, nothing works for you. And you come here and you see kids or even adults who are in a more severe position than you, and it really puts you in that space to feel grateful for your epilepsy. But it also allows you to help those people and say, I've been there. I know what that feels like.
Yeah.
I understand the alienation and the feeling alone, and that I don't want to take my meds, Mom and Dad. That makes me feel sick and tired.
Yeah.
You get to connect with people about that, but you also get to see how surgeries and medication have helped them.
Yeah.
We talked to somebody who has an RNS, which is potentially our next step.
Okay.
I have a VNS right now,
Okay.
and it's done great for me, but it's just not doing everything we need.
Okay.
So we've talked to people, and they're like, yeah, I've been seizure-free for 10 years with an RNS.
And what's an RNS?
That's an implant that goes in your brain
Okay.
and basically helps to stop seizures and reduce them.
Okay.
I don't know a ton about it because Dr. Millette has just kind of introduced that to us. but I'm really excited to learn more.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. And if you had a friend or knew someone who had epilepsy, what would you tell them about this event? Would you encourage them to be here?
I would totally encourage them to be here. It was so scary for me my first year because I didn't know anybody. I wasn't sure what all this medication was. I didn't know of any of these companies. I was very nervous and scared. But this is such a welcoming and warm environment because not only do the doctors and the corporations that are here kind of understand, but also all the people here just accept you as you are.
Yeah.
And whatever that means for what stage of epilepsy you're in,
Right.
which is great because had I known about this at 14, it could have changed my life.
Yeah.
And that's amazing. And I would love to see that happen for somebody else.
Yeah. Thank you.
Of course.
Do you have anything else you'd like to add?
I mean, for me, all of this would not have been possible without my parents. Like, my parents are my full-time caregivers. They're my people. They take turns driving 16 hours just to come up here with me. And they take care of me. They have to witness my seizures. They control my medication. So they are my doctors at home.
Yeah.
And I would not be where I am without them.
Yeah.
So I think you just got to give a shout out to all the people in your life that do those things that sometimes we can't because our memory won't allow us to remember those things quite as well. And things like that. And I'm just so grateful for my support system
Good.
and everything, yeah.
Yeah. Great. Well, thank you, Mallory.
Of